Hi everyone, welcome to my channel Srinivasa Biology Tutorial. For this section to discuss NCERT class 11, the chapter is Anatomy of Flowering Plants. Now, you can very easily to see the structural similarities and variations in the external morphological of the large living organisms, both plants and animals. See, when you take as any large organisms, when the external characters based on, we can easily to get separate as the which they are plant or animal. Now, similarly, if we where the study of the internal structure, one also they find the several similarities where as in the differences. See, in some internal characters also the different internal characters based on, so they're based on, they can easily to get different for as to get separate to as an age group. Now, this chapter introduce you to the internal structure and function organization of higher plants. So, in this chapter to completely explain about as the internal structure as well as functions, they get explained. Now, the study of the internal structure of plants is called as anatomy. Study of internal structures is called as what? Anatomy. The plants have the cell as a basic unit. So you take as any particular the organism, the cell is in a completely in basic unit. Now, after the cells are organized into tissues and the terms tissues organized into as an organ. So the first the single cells to get formed as a tissue, the single cells to get formed as a tissue, the tissue to get completely formed as one organ is formed. Now here these complete the different organs also to get formed as what? So here the different organs are in the plant show as the different there in internal structures. So here the different organs the organisms they have in the different the structures as present. We can see that like as angiosperms, the monocots and the dicots also seen the anatomically different. So here dicot plants anatomy is different as well as the monocotyledon anatomy also they get different. Now the internal structure also show the adaptations to their diverse the environments. So the depending upon the environments to automatically the characters will be to get changed. Okay. Now what is the tissue system? What is the tissue system? Where we discussing the types of tissues based on the types of cell present. So what type of cell is present? That is a plant cell or animal cell. Like the cell, their characters based on, let us know, consider as in the tissues where depending upon their location in a plant body. So for example, you talk about as in one particular plant. You talk about as any one particular plant. In this plant, the location as well as their entire shape and structure based on, they can easily to study about as in their characters. Like their structure and function would be also the dependent on the location. So on the basis of their structure, the location, there are three types of tissue systems as present. So here where is the completely the different tissues as present, they are based on the tissues are three types. They are epidermal tissue system and the ground or fundamental tissue system, and third one is in a vascular and conductive tissue system. So the three systems as present. One is epidermal tissue system, second one is ground or fundamental tissue system, third one is in a vascular or in a conductive tissue system is present. Now to first talk about as first one is what? The epidermal tissue system. The first to discuss about as what? Epidermal tissue system. The epidermal tissue system the form as the outermost covering layer of the whole plant body and the comprises the epidermal cells, stomata and the epidermal appendages like as a trichomes, hairs as present. See, for example, here when we take as one particular cell, when you take as one particular the plant cell mostly the outermost layer here in this the plant cell, the outermost layer, this outermost layer is called as what? Epidermis cell. So it is mostly the protective as well as the covering, they consist of stomata and epidermal appendage like a trichomes, hairs also they get present. Now the epidermis is the outermost layer of the primary plant body. So it is completely outermost layer of the primary body, like, okay, that is. Now this made up of as an elongated compactly. So these are completely made up of elongated and the compactly arrangement of cells. Here compactly they get arrangement of cells, like compactly they get arrangement of cells. Now, which form as the continuous layer? The epidermis usually the single layer. See here, this entire the epidermis is what it is in a single layer structure. It is completely in a they are single layer structure. And the epidermal cells are the parenchyma cells with as a small amount of the cytoplasm, the lining the cell of the cell wall and the large vacuole. So this entire mostly cell they are made up of what they are parenchyma cells as present. They are consist of as a cytoplasm also. Okay. And the outside of the completely epidermis often they are covered with as a waxy thick layer is called as a cuticle. See here their outermost layer is present. This outermost layer, the waxy layer. This is in what it is in the waxy layer. It is called as what? Cuticle. It is in a cuticle layer is present, which is prevent the water loss. The major function of the cuticle is what? To get prevent, means to decrease as in a water loss. The cuticle is absent in root head. Mostly in the roots, the cuticle is absent. The stomata structures are present on the epidermis on here of the leaves. The some you observe as a particular in mesophyll cells, the stomata is also noticed. Stomata is also to get noticed. The stomata regulates the process of the transpiration and gases exchange. So the stomata's function is what? It is the gas exchange as well as in a transpiration purpose also. Their transpiration purpose also they get help. See here each stomata they are composed of the two bean shaped cells as present, those called as in a god cells. So once you observe to as any one particular the stomata, once you notice as any one particular stomata, the stomata consists of all the two cells as present. These two cells are called as what? God cells. These two cells are called as what? God cells, which are enclosed the stomatal pore. So in this middle of the region is called, this is in the stomatal pore. It is what? Stomatal pore is present. Now in the grasses, mostly the God cells are dumbbell shaped. So in the dicot plant, in the dicot has in their kidney shape, am I right? They having as in a kidney shape. But in monocots, the stomata has in a dumbbell shape. They having as which shape they are dumbbell shaped, they are God cells as present. Now after the outer walls of God cells here away from the stomatal aperture, the inner walls towards the stomatal pore, they are highly thickened, and the God cells that possess as a chloroplast and a regulated vessel in that openings closing of the stomata. So here mostly in this enter the God cells they having as a microtubules as present, and then they contain as in a chlorophyll pigments also present. They having as in a the chlorophyll pigments also present. So in this God cells to get help flanking purpose means opening of the stomata and then closing of the stomata. Now in sometimes a few epidermal cells there they show as the vicinity of the God cells becomes as a specialized structure shape size, they are known as subsidiary cells. So in the cells they are covered with as another cells also they are present here, thick cells, those are called as subsidiary cells. These are called as what? These are subsidiary cells. Subsidiary cells also present. Now after the stomatal aperture God cells, the surrounded by subsidiary cells as present to gather as a stomatal aperture. So it is in a completely god. These are the god cells, and these are subsidiary cells. These are the in a epidermal cells. These are the epidermal cells also they get present. Okay, now these are the completely bean-shaped structure. These are the bean-shaped structure. This is in a dumbbell shape. This is in a dumbbell shape structure of stomatas are present. Okay, they given as in clearly in the diagram. Now, after the cell of epidermis bears the number of hairs. The root hairs are unicellular along its epidermal cells with help to absorption of water and the minerals from the soil. So, when you see as in a one particular in root, the root, it is the root epidermis. In this root epidermis, they have hair-like structures is called as a root hairs. These are completely root hairs. These root hairs major function to get absorption of water, minerals from the soil form. Now, on the stem, the epidermal hairs-like structure is called as a trichomes. You see as a stem, this structure is called as what? Trichomes. The trichomes are completely, they are multicellular and branched or unbranched, soft and stiff. And here, they may even, the secretory, the trichomes help the preventing the water loss due to the as in a transpiration. So, here the trichomes to get help as in a to get completely to loss control the water loss. Here the trichomes, sorry, in the completely root hairs they present as in only roots. These are function is what to get absorption of in a water and minerals. So these are the completely unicellular. It is in what completely unicellular root hairs as present. Okay, this is a in a first one epidermal system. The ground tissue system. The ground tissue system. All tissues except the epidermis vascular bundles consist of the ground tissue. Epidermis, say for example, you take as any, this is the epidermis. These are completely epidermis, and here has in a vascular bundles. Here has in what? In completely here vascular bundles as present. So epidermis and vascular bundles. These two except the remaining all. The remaining is called as what? Ground tissue. This is called as completely, it is what? Ground tissue. This part is called ground tissue. It consists of a simple parenchyma and parenchyma and then sclerenchyma. So this complete this part, they are made up of as any parenchyma, parenchyma, and then here the sclerenchyma tissue. Now the parenchyma cells usually present in the cortex, pericycle, pit and medullary rays in the primary stems of stems as well as roots. So the cortex region, pericycle region and pit region and medullary rays region and primary stems and roots, mostly this kind of ground tissue are noticed. And in leaves and ground tissue are consist of a thin-walled chloroplast contain cells as present. Those are called as a mesophyll cells. So in that leaves are having a what? Chlorophyll pigments as present. The chlorophyll cells is called as what? That is completely mesophyll. Next last one is, that is the vascular tissue system. The last one is what? The vascular tissue system. The vascular system consists of the complex tissues. Here the vascular tissue. Here the vascular tissue is called as what? Complex tissue, because they are composed of what? Their xylem and phloem is present. Am I right? Now the phloem and xylem, complex tissues, they are xylem and phloem. The xylem, phloem together constitute of a vascular bundle. So when you observe here, it is xylem is present as well as in a phloem. Xylem and phloem. So it is a one vascular bundle. Am I right? Now the dicotyledon stem, the cambium is present between the phloem and the xylem. Such vascular bundles become present because the presence of the cambium possesses the ability to form as a secondary xylem and phloem tissue, hence it is called as an open vascular bundles. So in case here the xylem, it is a vascular bundle. In this vascular bundle, here xylem is present, and here then has in a phloem is present. So xylem and phloem, the separated by as in a cambium is present. Such kind of vascular bundle is called as what? It is in a the open vascular bundle. It is called as what? Open vascular bundle. In that monocotyledon plants, the vascular bundles, they have no cambium present, then hence they are to form as in a secondary tissues and refers to as in a closed type of vascular bundle. So when that completely cambium is present, what happened? Here secondary growth is present. Here they are having as what? Mostly the secondary growth is present. But see here in this structure, in this monocotyledon, it is what? A monocots. In this monocots, here cambium is absent. Cambium is absent. So such kind of vascular bundle is what? Closed type of vascular bundle. Closed type of vascular bundle. And then here completely secondary growth also to absent. Secondary growth is what, ma? Absent. Now here, when the xylem and phloem within the vascular bundles are arranged as in an alternate manner along with as in a the different radius, such kind of vascular bundles are called as what? The radial vascular bundles. Such roots, they are conjoined types of vascular bundles. So here, most of the conjoined vascular bundles. See here, the different radius their vascular bundles are arranged. This is called as what? Conjoined vascular bundles. Conjoined vascular bundles. Now, after the xylem and phloem, the jointly situated along the same radius, the vascular bundle, such vascular bundles is commonly stems and leaves. Sometimes here the completely vascular bundles are arranged as in the same radius, like vascular bundles completely they get arranged as in a their same radius. When you observe as in this kind of vascular bundles on the knee, they are stems and then leaves. The conjoined vascular bundles usually have in the phloem, they are located only outer side of the xylem. The phloem they present as in a located outside of the xylem. Okay, this is okay now. This is the remaining second part to discuss in next class. Thank you for watching.